Hi guys. Okay, so we have entered the eclipse portal or eclipse seasons, and I'm going to give you some, tips and advice and ways that you can kind of pay attention in your life and kind of go with the flow a little bit more during this time so you can actually take advantage of it. So here we are, eclipse season, and there's nothing to fear. We have literally eclipses twice a year. And it's a time when we just it's a time of divine surrendering where we can surrender to the highest timeline, especially since now the North Node is in Pisces. This is all about faith and trust and connecting to your inner world and your inner visions and your imagination, which is the bridge to your higher self and to, all that is to really get that guidance with where you're going in the long term. And I'm going to do things a little bit differently this time. I'm including the sidereal chart too. Wait a second, let me adjust this because I think the sidereal is important to pay attention to. Sidereal is more so connecting to the soul, and that's also kind of a very important thing since the North Node is in Pisces. And the whole sign houses more so has to do with the physical and what's materially just in your everyday life, and that's why it is very accurate with predictions. But sidereal is where we want to plant those seeds for intentions, because those are those soulful intentions that we are planting to grow and planting to be really in true alignment with. And if you notice this, the sun's still in Leo. The last new moon that happened, that was in Virgo, is in sidereal. It's in Leo, and it was right on top of Regulus. And I definitely feel that. This is a good time where we are just connecting with the soul, because what we're doing is having deep identity and role shifts by connecting to our heart and our inner being, and then restructuring our lives from there. So we're going to be able to look at Virgo with what we can release from our lives materially, what's heavy, what's dense, any patterns, any routines, any habits. Virgo is more so like the physical karma that we do in life. It's like what we just take on from society because everyone else is doing it. But right now we're kind of moving into a more individual time where it's going to be more powerful to find our own flow, with our habits and routines when we're moving into this lighter energy that isn't so heavy and dense. So we can be, better creators in our lives. I have a focus here too, which I think is actually really important. I actually want to be surprised if I fully did, move to sidereal in a couple months, but we'll see, because a focus is very important, to evolve out of the karma, because this is the transformation point. This is where you are connected to the middle, of the galaxy, and you do get the higher energies to transmute all of the darkness that does release you from the, heavy karma and everything, heavier cycles and everything. This is the ultimate transmutation energy. So, we'll talk more about that later. But yeah, I've been using this app called Stellarium, and yeah, I just cannot not use sidereal too, because we're connecting back with nature, connecting back to the stars. And when you look out at the stars, you want to see where the sun and the moon, where they actually are. And where they actually are here. They're still in Leo. So I think it's really important, in this next cycle, when we're connecting more so to nature and the natural rhythms and cycles of everything and everything being connected. It's really important to pay attention to this and paying attention to more so what your soul is saying, and tuning in so you really know where to plant those seeds from the soul. Just wanted to bring up my chart in this real quick too, because remember last video or a couple of videos, I'm like, I wish I had Aries. Guess what? I'm an ultra mega Aries right there. So I kind of like that. This is my different chart. And if you want to kind of look at your own chart with, the 13 constellations and in Sidereal, you can go to this website. There's plenty of other programs that do use Sidereal, but not many programs that have Ophiuchus in it. And you can do it on Solar Flare, but you have to like go in and adjust the settings and everything. And I'm just like, let me find the best way. And this was the best way for now. So we're going to use this website for now, but I like it. We'll start out here with whole sign. This is our physical reality and what we can pay attention to, what we're doing in a physical way in our everyday life, and also materially, what is around us, especially with the South Node here. Is a good time to throw stuff out. If you're done with something, because objects do carry energy, like from when you bought them and just, throughout like whatever you've been through with them. So it's good to clear space. This is majorly releasing because it's making room for you to go in this higher, energetic direction that is going to be more soulfully fulfilling and soulfully aligned. And with the North Node in Pisces, it is more so about surrendering to the highest timeline. We don't actually have to carry so much. We have so many things in societies, in programs with society where we felt like we had to carry such a burden, where we have to carry the whole weight on our shoulders. And, we have to have so much in our minds, and then just mental like clutter and, just feeling cluttered in general. And this is where we're getting rid of all of that, because we weren't actually meant to carry so much. We were always meant to have more trust and faith in the universe, and be a little bit lighter, be a little bit more playful, and follow the signs, follow the synchronicities, and be very in tune with yourself and your inner world, so you can let the universe carry you too. This is all about kind of releasing a lot, so we can allow the universe to carry us again, towards the right opportunities, towards our soulful like destiny and path that is going to be really fulfilling. And we just have to release control. Our mind can have a tendency to want to grab a hold of control again, when we actually do just need to surrender to a bigger vision. And we're going to get a hold of that vision when we go within. Pisces is all about going within. It's a very spiritual sign, but like Sagittarius is the seeker, where it's externally seeking and getting knowledge and wisdom and traveling the world and seeing different worldviews. Pisces is all about getting that internal wisdom. It's kind of like you recognizing that you actually already had everything inside of you, that you just needed to get quiet and really listen to yourself. And you don't know that you can get, that much insight until you do it. And if you have trouble doing this, a good app is the Monroe Institute app. I think it's called Expand, but they have those hemisync, sounds and everything. So you naturally just, go into that subconscious brain state. And your subconscious is what kind of holds everything. You have the universe inside of you, and you just need to quiet and really like listen to yourself and activate that part of yourself, so you can, really hear everything and hear your own guidance in your own direction. This has really made me think about free will and destiny, because we do have free will here, but I think ultimately destiny leads you to that higher timeline. It's kind of where you'll always be constantly being pushed, which is the North Node. That is your soulful destiny, where you're going to go and grow through that soulful growth and evolution. If you go in that direction, which is always into the unknown, and it is destined, there's fated relationships there. There's fated opportunities. There's you being so fatedly aligned and connected at the same time to people and opportunities in like a bigger unknown, like magical thing that can really happen in your life in a bigger plan. And you actually being able to tune into the magic, because when you do like go on that and these surprising, amazing things happen, and you kind of like, but on the inside, you knew it, So when you see, the things that happen and the things that come together at the right place, at the right time, and all it took you was to release control, actually, and to just have faith in that, and surrendering into that bigger vision that the mind can't even comprehend, because the mind can't pull pieces together like the universe can. But when you like pay attention to the small things that, and kind of slow down and get that guidance within you, then you let the bigger picture come together. And it does take a lot less effort. And all we have to do is like stop running from ourselves. And also at the same time, stop trying to be perfect. With the South Node in Virgo, releasing control, releasing perfectionism, releasing the need to know the details, releasing the stories and the narratives that are also coming from the ego, and instead tuning into that soulful wisdom within, which is always going to be speaking in peace, light, just excitement, joy, and inspiration. So you can, kind of wash away and cleanse like all the stories that you've been hanging on to in the mind. So if you are having trouble with this, actually, one tool, it is just important to remind yourself that you are awareness. Like that's a good affirmation that I've been using. I am awareness. Like, because, I have the South Node in Virgo too. So this is a little amplified for me. But if you just remind yourself that you are awareness, and I forgot who said it. I mean, there's so many people that say it, but basically we are, infinite consciousness, and we're a tiny little fractal piece of that consciousness that's in this body right now. And the way we can be so soulfully fulfilled is to just integrate more and more of that consciousness into our body. And the only way we do that is to remind ourselves that we are consciousness, and then unblock all the mind blocks that have been stopping us. So you can get more so in your heart, and you get more so in the flow, and you get more into summoning the feelings inside of you that you want to experience. When you are connecting with yourself, internally, because that's how you manifest. You connect to yourself internally first. You connect to your imagination and your visualizations and what you want to create. And you're paying more attention to that. And you're assuming that you're going to get that. You're kind of like summoning that energy inside of you, which kind of leads you in the right direction, So say you want to feel more happiness, say you want to feel more joy, say you want to feel more inspiration. You want to summon that inside of you first. You want to have that inspiration inside of you first, so you can like have that trust and faith and like flow into that. Then, you follow your excitement, you follow the signs, you follow the synchronicities, and you let go, you release, and you get proven right by having that faith and trust in the universe. So loosen your grip, start listening within, and let go of any stories from the past or any chaos going out in the world, and narratives in general that aren't coming from within. So you can enable, be more so focused on the future instead of enabling the horrors of the past. I know that's a big thing right now too, especially just collectively, like we're enabling the horrors of the past to make a horror of today, big horror of today, like, okay, when it's like, okay, how does humanity not see this yet? Anyway, and we're also releasing perfectionism, because perfectionism isn't real. Virgo, I appreciate Virgo, because you will go as close as humanly possible to making something perfect. That Kobe was a Virgo, and like that is somebody who obviously, perfected his art, perfected his craft as much. I mean, sports, whatever, it is still a craft and it is still art, when you can get that into it, and into perfecting something like that. And then there's also this ballerina, actually, which I love. Sergei Puluni, I think I said that right. But he has his moon in Virgo, and he has, or Jupiter in Cancer also, and it's sextile. So it's like he uses these big emotions and everything. And then he's connected to it like physically. And if you want to see like a human that basically gravity doesn't apply to, watch that, because it is so impressive. I saw it like 9 years ago and I was like, is that still like as impressive? And yeah, it's like, it's so beautiful. It's so impressive. But it's funny how that is, so much like the energy that we're in, right now. I kind of like how we can use like these bigger emotions and everything inside of us in a, towards something, towards working on something. Because Virgo is also about work too. It's about making work more enjoyable. With the South Node here, like we could be releasing a lot about work in our everyday lives and the routines that have been just kind of draining and actually not allowing us to flow. I think we can use these bigger emotions right now to see like where we can flow more so with being in touch with our inner world. And wherever we feel that frustration or wherever we're feeling something, this is like us, an invitation for us to get into more alignment. We're choosing the pattern of the soul over performance of personality, or needing to have everything perfect. And sometimes that does take a little bit of vulnerability, and that does take a little bit of softness and softening, where we have been so rigid and structured. But it's our opportunity to maybe choose the soul, and just choose our own way of being, even if it feels raw, even if it feels unfamiliar. This is definitely a direction that you want to explore, so you can restructure things and reset your patterns into a way that is actually going to be more fulfilling and more sustaining for you in the long term, and making and pushing you in that more soulfully aligned direction. It can be more so in that soulful unfolding and the path to remembering. And because that's what it is. That's, we kind of go on this journey so we can remember more of ourselves, and so we can recognize more of ourselves and have this like wisdom really come our way. And it does lead to authenticity, which authenticity is actually just like lived. You have to live the authenticity to really connect to your authenticity. And then your authenticity is always changing because, you are evolving also. So I kind of just thought about that the other day. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But that's why I like this stuff in Leo. I love how it was literally right on Regulus too. It's so cool to see it like right on the little front paw of the lion. But this is where we're setting intentions from the heart. We're really going in and visualizing and connecting with our heart. And this is where we're connecting with our bravery and where we know where we can step up and take the lead. Because and I'll just take like art as an example. Whatever is inside of us that needs to come out and be expressed out into the world. And, I'll use art as an example, this song as an example, Taking Me to Church by Hoser. This was this guy's first song that he ever made. And it went like, it took off right away. And he never thought, the lyrics would be thought about by millions of people, because he was literally making them for himself. He was figuring out something within himself and, trying to take back, sexuality that the church kind of took away. And, but it was really him just figuring that out within himself. And I love the lyrics to it too. It's actually very clever, how I put it all together. And he was going over that, for a whole year, but it resonated with so many people because he was really sitting on something that was within himself that he wanted to bring out and express to, like, he thought he was just going to be playing it at a pub, full of like drunk people in like Ireland or the UK. I don't know where he's from, but then it goes worldwide because it is something like millions and millions and millions of people are trying to figure out. that has to do with the church and us feeling like sinners, and where the church actually does feel like it really is, and everything. But yeah, it's one of those beautiful songs that has deeper meaning and multiple meanings, and then it also just like resonates. You feel it when it's right, and something like that can only come from within somebody, within one of us that is like trying to process something in that, deep of a way, where when we share it with somebody else, it does awaken them in some way. It kind of, they recognize that, that something that was within you, it's also within them. And it just kind of brings, this beauty, into the world with how we are all really connected. We're really connecting to our true radiance, our true beauty, taste, art. It always comes from within, and it always comes from the soul. The ways we want to express ourselves, we will get everything from within. It's not looking at magazines, at airbrush people, at AI people now. What the hell are we going to do with that? But that's why people will appreciate, true beauty and soulful expression even more. Because it is that kind of thing that is like actually unforced. It's just something that's within you. And it's just something, whatever's in you can be really translated to somebody else, because whatever's in you is in somebody else also. It's that natural soulful expression. And then we can kind of be liberated because we're allowing ourselves to emerge. We're connecting to more of that soul, deeper essence from ourselves, in our own joy and our own happiness, and the ways we can take the lead in our life, and the ways that we can kind of live from the heart. So it can lead to more of that liberation. And, I think you also have to know, it's giving yourself the courage to know your own ability to make an impact. We can all make an impact. There's no special people. We can all make an impact, but it's all about you going within yourself to see where you can make the biggest impact yourself. It's more, and you can only do that with, going within and pulling that stuff, out of you. And then at the same time, claiming it, owning it, know you are that. And I can't believe I have so much fire in my thing. I'm just going to be so much more fiery now. Anyway, but you have to own your gifts, because you're not going to get that validation from the world. And yeah, you might from some people, but definitely not from everybody. You have to claim your gifts. You have to own your gifts, and you have to, let yourself go through that identity shift and the role shifts, so what you want to step into, where your heart is calling you. And then we can set our intentions to manifest more of that. And, when it comes to setting intentions, that's our manifestations. We want to make sure we set them. We want to affirm, we want to plant the seeds. We want to, water whatever wants to come from inside of us, like plant those seeds externally, and then tend to it. My favorite thing is, with manifestations, you plant the manifestations, but at the end of the day, it's up to the universe, for the seed to sprout for them when the manifestation actually comes. But you have to go every day and water it and tend to it. And you're reminding yourself of who you truly are, and you're stepping more into that version of, you're inviting yourself to step more and more and more into that true version of yourself every single day that is, truly beautiful and radiating from your heart. Because true beauty, just comes from the heart, and it is powerful, when it does come from within you. You're finding your true radiance without the masks, without the distortions, without feeling the need to compromise. The more that you can just unveil the truth and more of the truth of who you are, that is true power. That is true courage too, because it's not always comfortable. It can be scary sometimes, but you're letting yourself emerge as real, and you're uncovering the inner truth and letting it be in outer expression. So again, for the Virgo, this is where we're planting the seeds for the new routines, the new habits, the new ways of organizing our daily lives that is more in alignment with our soulful patterns and the way we just naturally want to move through life. And then, the Leo, Leo is all about setting those, just heartfelt, soulful intentions. Basically combining it all, but doing, setting it with heart, leading from the heart and making it material. So I love that. And with eclipses, you will get more signs, you will get more synchronicities, you will get pushed in that soulful direction. If it is hitting a personal planet, it'll just be very obvious, like where you're supposed to be going, because sometimes, like, yeah, the universe is like, if you've been needing to let go of something for a while, like this would be the universe, like kicking you out of it. And then so you can go in that direction. Just know, like, it is going to be very fulfilling when you go in that direction. And the more that you can just lean into your heart and faith and trust in that inner vision that you're going towards what's meant for you, then you can take advantage of this. So definitely plant those seeds, lead from the heart. And if you want to look at your sun is, that soulful guidance. It does lead to more destiny and purpose in life. It does we end up being more and more like our sun sign as we go through life. That is like the end goal of how we're shining out in this world. And our moon sign is our perception. It's like the anchor of our emotional body into this reality. And it's the way we think and the way we feel about life. And we can kind of look and see where we can get into more alignment with that. And also becoming aware of maybe some of the stories that we're telling ourselves that we're not fully aware of, and get really clear with those stories. And then you want to look at your rising sign, for events that could possibly happen. It's like the objective reality with somebody else looking in. All right, so let's start out with Virgo. And I'm going to look at the whole sign chart for Virgo. But yeah, for the spiritual insights, I'll pull the cards as always. So Virgo, big one for you. This is all about yourself and your identity and how you show up out in the world. And how can you bring that internal essence that's inside of you, that fire inside of you, and bring it externally? Because when you do that, you are actually doing, a service for people, because you're allowing yourself to radiate more of your true self. And then people feel it, people know it. And that kind of also lets the right people see you. We can't make the right friends and the right connections and even embrace the right opportunities until we let more of our authentic self out and more of our freak flag fly out in the world. Anyway. But it's really time for you to, maybe you're definitely releasing where you've been doing too much for people. Like maybe you've been taking on too much. Maybe you've been prioritizing relationships. Maybe there's, just certain roles and identities that you've taken on that it's actually time to release. It's not time for you to do that anymore. And it's more so time for you to get in alignment with your heart and where is your heart calling you? Don't think so practical about it. Like, it is time for you to listen in and get that guidance and make a vow to your heart, because you will be guided in a bigger direction towards, really strong soulmate relationships. With the North Node in Pisces, like these are destined relationships, and this could be romantic, business, friendships, soul family, lifelong partners. And it's so nice that the North Node is here and Jupiter's giving it a trine for the next year, like until next June. So you have a lot of time to meet somebody really special. But it's all about stepping into that bigger version of you and not prioritizing maybe work so much in the mundane and what you have been doing. It's time to let your heart, take the lead and really commit to that. But yeah, a vow could be coming in for somebody too. And if that's what you want, definitely clarify that, communicate that to, people in your life, but also clarify to people in your life what you truly want. And it could just be ways that you're shifting dynamics or just a need to finally get your truth across. But when you do, you will definitely be rewarded. At the same time, I think you're getting clear with where you've been hurt in the past with Three of Air that came out. Getting clear with the heartache and the pains of the past, and you don't want to hang on to those stories. You want to make sure you're releasing those stories and make sure they're not like unconsciously replaying in the background or anything. So who are you becoming? This is big. The first house, like what is that highest version of yourself and that highest identity that you can step into? It's time to plant those seeds, get that vision, and know that you're stepping into this becoming. It's not going to happen overnight, but you can get major visions and just that connection with who you're meant to be out in the world and what you're meant to go after. And it all really starts with you, and allowing yourself to step into this bigger identity. And I love how there's going to be 2 new moons during this. This last new moon was not the eclipse. There's going to be an eclipse at 29 degrees. And I like how it's at 0 degrees and then 29 degrees. So it's like you're planting seeds you're planting seeds. And at the same time, you're kind of getting clear, like with what chapters you're ending, like what this is bringing you that internal awareness of what you're really done with. So you can know, as you're moving through this, what is exiting out of your life? What do you need to let go of? And it might be a little agitating with Uranus here, like really shaking things up. But at the same time, it's like, if you're feeling that agitation, if you're feeling Uranus energy is really sometimes agitating, because sometimes it's like trying to get your attention to go in a certain direction, to either, express your energy here, to go find this thing, to go meet up with this person, to do something random. Literally, you never know where Uranus energy is going to take you, but it always gets you there. And then, just allowing the new to come in. So yeah, new moon at 0 degrees, another one at 29 degrees. You're closing out cycles and starting new cycles, and just you will be aligned with all of that, with knowing who you're becoming. And any relationships exiting your life right now, don't take it personally. It is just time for that to kind of, end. And sometimes this happens. Sometimes the universe kicks people out of our lives, but it's so we kind of go on this new direction, on this soul path and trajectory that we're actually meant to go in. So listen to the lightning strikes that come your way, the awakenings, and just the new ideas and inspirations. I think this would kind of bring you to where you're supposed to be, and bring you a lot of direction, actually, and kind of clear up where maybe you were keeping yourself too separated off from life. I don't know why I want to say that. I want to say maybe you kept yourself more so in a box because you were keeping yourself limited because of some sort of programming. And it's like this lightning strike comes in and just awakens you, and it kind of, makes you see the unity instead of the division. And yeah, the more that you stay committed to your heart, the more that you can be excited about all the new directions and who you're really stepping into. But in having that intention in your heart. All right. Thank you so much, Virgo. Hi, Libra. How's it going? So this is happening in your 12th house. You're planting seeds in your 12th house, where you're really getting in touch with your higher self and that bigger knowing and your internal world. And really connecting with, just your visualizing in your imagination and your heart, and seeing what wants to come out of you more so. What is that bigger picture? What is that bigger vision? The Hermit came out, of course. Where have you been keeping yourself limited from that bigger vision that you have internally? So you can become more so aware of it. I think this is all about just that internal awareness that you get, and allowing yourself to kind of, go within and really listen so you can slow down and, realize that you don't have to constantly go and go and go. Like you will go a lot faster if you slow down and listen within first and get that guidance. And then, yeah, it's, when the 12th house is activated, it's all about manifestation. It's all about really connecting to what is that highest version of love that you want to experience? What is that ideal career? What is that, just whatever you want to experience in life, and visualizing it to really magnetize it to you. Because it's actually not as hard to like manifest the things you want to manifest, but it always starts within first. So this is what you're really getting in touch with. And I think you're releasing the ways that you've been blocked off to love, the ways you've kind of kept your heart in a cage in the way back, where you're really getting in touch with how you can release that in a certain way. And I've noticed, God, with this like Libra, Neptune, Saturn thing going on, like sometimes chaos or just like a fight does need to happen so a rebalancing can happen. It's like having that fight so it does release you. So it does open up your heart and you realize how much you actually do feel and where does your heart want to go. And there's just so much more knowing that you get when you have, conflict for evolving, and it's not like, don't encourage it, but you can't avoid it. Sometimes you just have to have a disagreement, have an argument, talk about the thing, whatever, so you can really know what you're committing to moving forward. And this would be all the ways that maybe you look back to the past and you're letting go of the ways that you kept yourself blocked off and kept the stories internally, where you can kind of open up again. Man holding a heart came out. So maybe a man holding a heart is coming your way. And by you kind of connecting to that and that higher vision of love that, is within you, you can manifest it more externally. And yeah, apocalypse is coming out. So it's kind of like, it can feel a little chaotic internally, especially, at the beginning with this Uranus square, like maybe it's just jolting things up to the surface, old stories, old narratives, old whatever. But this is just so you can become aware of it. And so you release it. And it's kind of like a big letting go and knowing what's ending, what's of the past, and not dragging the past into the future. You don't want to be manifesting your past into the future. You want to open your heart and to lead with more love, more compassion, more forgiveness. So you attract in the right relationships, go towards the right meaningful relationships and the destined relationships that will be so, so fulfilling. And yeah, just have a little patience, I guess, really slow down so you can really get all that guidance and messages. And I do want to read Apocalypse. So I'm not going to do this for all the parts. I'm trying to not go 4 hours long in these things like I normally do. Apocalypse. But I do like this one. Because it sounds like a dangerous card or whatever, but it's really or whatever, a chaotic one. But it's really not. It's just kind of about endings. Apocalypse is revealing. That's what apocalypse actually really means. It means revealing something. Okay. Apocalypse indicates a particularly painful time, one that unfolds when two desperate dynamics occur simultaneously, pulling the psyche in seemingly opposite directions. The first is lifting of the veil, which means truths that have been kept in the dark are revealed, seen, and unearthed, no matter how relieving it is. No matter how relieving it is to witness them come to light, an element of despair and grief follows. The second dynamic is the regeneration that comes from the wreckage of the revealed truth. The old narratives break and a new story forms. Apocalypse energy is similar to the forest fire's devastation. For the sake of regeneration, the veil lifts and we see who and what has been hiding from the nakedness of the truth. A child is born. Have faith in the process. Hold on to your center. That is the only way. Yeah, so I actually love the apocalypse energy because it lifts all the veils, and that's so amazing when we're lifting the veils of ourselves. So it's just more and more becoming, and just realizing everything that was holding us back from truly what is meaningful to us, and what can be really rebirthed from this more like whole place of ourselves, that is from the heart. So I love that for you. Thank you so much, Libra. All right, Scorpio, this is all about your 11th house. So who are you connecting with? These are your friends, these are your networks. This is kind of the larger platforms and groups that you work with. It could be social media, it could be just groups at work that you connect with. And who's really aligning? This is a great time to really plant those seeds for bigger projects. If you wanted to start a group project, if you wanted to do a co-collaboration, if you wanted to launch something on social media, potent time to do it. Or you can really set those intentions at least and really get aligned in your internal world with that overall bigger vision that you want to manifest. Because the 11th house is that biggest, most beautiful, grandest vision that you could possibly bring, into life. And yeah, it's really important to connect with your internal world with that. What are you seeing? Anything that you desire, you can have. You just have to really set those intentions and get your conscious energy going in the right direction, because it goes from the conscious mind to the subconscious, and the subconscious is connected to everything that has created everything. So you have to know that you have direct connection to the thing that has created everything. And that's why there are no limits when it comes to manifesting whatever you want to create. All you have to do is set those intentions, really, and then get really, really not insane. Get really strict about manifesting it, which is like through affirmations or visualizing 10 minutes before you wake up, 10 minutes before you go to sleep. I like robotic affirmations throughout the day. And then you have to be devoted every single day to that vision. Because when you connect with that vision, it already exists. You are connecting to that energetic tie that's kind of bringing you in that direction. And it's all about being consistent in that direction towards that energetic pull and tie, so you can manifest it materially, because manifesting things materially takes a longer time. But you have to know, as soon as you set that intention, it is yours, it is coming to you, it is being magnetized to you through people, through opportunities, through whatever, and you leave it up to the universe. You let go, you set your intentions, you plant the seed, and you let go. Well, I mean, besides being energetically focused on it, like being devoted and consistent, at least 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night, or robotically affirming, or whatever your chosen manifestation path is, so you can bring it to you. So yeah, very, very potent time to plant those seeds for the overall bigger vision that you're really getting aligned with in a very soulful way. With the North Node in Pisces, it is more so towards your heart, towards your inner child. What visions did you have when you were, younger? What did you think you would be out in the world? What did you want to do? What were your passions? What brings you that joy? Because that's in alignment with where you're supposed to be going, and what will be really soulfully fulfilling. I wanted to pull one more card. So yeah, sorry, I just like sprinted up and down the stairs, so that's why I'm like breathing weird. One sec. Okay. So the world, there's a whole new world that you're getting in touch with. And I love this card because it's like, the world card is a whole new lucky chapter of people, of, just new opportunities. It's like a book turned into a wondrous new chapter. And that's what you're setting, with your intentions. And, it might be in the far off distance, but you plant that seed and it will come closer and closer and closer into view. you will see the signs, you will see the synchronicities, you will like just feel energetically kind of guided in that direction. And the more soulfully aligned it is, which is, so why you connect to your heart and that, what really matters to you in your heart. So you can follow, so you can feel it. And, like whatever you manifest that is soulfully aligned will stay with ease. It is all about just you being more so in alignment, and you don't have to strive for it. You don't have to work for it too hard. You just have to have that vision in your heart and have good intentions and want to improve people's lives and want to improve your life and want to make the world a better place. And those are the things that are soulfully aligned. It brings you love, peace, joy, inspiration, and the universe will guide you along the way. So an offering might be coming your way. This might be an opportunity to co-collaborate, to maybe travel, to, show up in a different way out in the world. Because the 11th house, sometimes we go do something completely random, actually, and it leads us to that bigger direction that we're meant to be going into. So definitely look out for that. And door to romance. Romance can definitely be coming your way. And it's all about letting your heart get unblocked. A lot of healing is happening with you listening to your heart with the North Node in Pisces, having that unconditional love and forgiveness of the past and releasing those past stories so you can really invite in destined love. A soulmate connection can definitely come in right now that is very just fulfilling and destined and going to take you on that bigger path and journey and remind you about what you really liked, when you were younger too. And it's going to release financial constraints. Maybe you don't see, or if you're letting financial constraints get in the way of what you really want, don't, if your heart is calling you in that direction, don't immediately block it off. Know that the money will come and it will lead to more and more money, because this is the house of financial gains. Career gains. So it's the area where you can actually make easy money too. This is you setting intentions for that bigger money stuff that can come your way. And not letting any financial constraints stop you right now. All right. Thank you so much, Scorpio. If you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Hi, Sagittarius. This is all about you connecting to your long-term goals. The 10th house is your long-term goals. It's your career. It's how you show up out in the world. What are you known for? What is the legacy that you want to leave out in the world? And right now you're being called in a big way to get into your core and the core of who you are and your inner being, and kind of remembering the, innocence of yourself, the one that is unconditionally loving and compassionate and forgiving, and that soulful self, that soulful essence that wants to come alive again. So you become a little bit less rigid, I guess, in the ways that you thought things had to be. So you can kind of make a structure in career and be aligned on a bigger soulful path that is going to just be more in flow with you. Number one, you definitely want to be able to embrace your the ways that you can be dynamic out in the world, because with Uranus in the 7th house now, it'll be, or at an angle, being dynamic is your superpower. You're a mutable sign. You can really do that. So there's a way that you can structure things that is maybe more in flow with your intuition. And at the same time, you're really getting connected to your inner child. And what did you want to be as a kid? What did you want to be when you were younger? And what did you think of the world, when you were younger too, and just had those big dreams and you were so excited about certain things? Because this can give you a lot of guidance with where you're supposed to go and what can be inspirational, and how can you maybe merge more of that into your everyday life and into, who you are out in the world. And so it's kind of releasing all the ways that you were maybe too planned out, too structured, too just thinking something need to be a certain way out in the world, releasing perfectionism, because perfectionism can actually lead to, the shadow working through you, because that is always the ego. The mind's always telling you things can be more and more and more perfect. But the heart like knows nothing can ever be perfect. So if you are striving so hard to make everything perfect, you kind of allow like your shadow self to work through you to push too hard and maybe push just push too hard, I think there's any other way. Yeah, just be aware that like you want to be in the flow right now. You want to like get into your heart, get into your soul, get into that remembrance of why you came here, because you're being moved in that direction more so, and you're going to feel that within at a core. And maybe it does lead to a lot of anxiety because you want to know where you're going in the long term. But this is like the anxiety that you have always been carrying subconsciously that you can actually release now. So there's a new way. You're releasing the 10 of air. And the 10 of air, like this is just like the 10 of air is all the voices in the head. And it's you're letting go of all of that, because not all the voices in our head, like it's not always us. That's why you need to get into the heart to really listen to that soulful place. So when you listen to that soulful place, you know how to structure things. You know what's meaningful to you. You know how you're supposed to show up out in the world. So make sure you spend some time visualizing, connecting with your heart, connecting with your intuition, and letting that kind of guide you in the right direction, following the signs, following the synchronicities, and being excited about life again, and being more so in touch with who you truly are and who you truly were, like when you first came here before all the programming. This is like a big programming release with the 10 of swords coming out. It's finished. It's all the anxiety that you've been hanging on to, that's gone now. And there's a new way of doing things, the page of air. New ideas, new ways of doing things, new ways of structuring things, new ways of showing up. And maybe it's just an idea of a direction that you want to go in with a certain career path, or a way to restructure things, or, just really be open to the new ideas that can come your way, because these are the new intentions that you're really planting. And it might have to do with healing. The healer came out. So, and the sun, oh, that's funny. I didn't realize 2 cards came out over here. So the sun came out, Leo energy. You're meant to follow your happiness. You're meant to follow your joy. And it's kind of like you're going into the forest for a little bit, and healing yourself, so you can really like heal that wounded part of yourself that you suppressed from the world, and you did like keep in your little cavern at home, where it's actually time to bring it out into the world in a brilliant, beautiful, expressive way. But it's all about like maybe going a little hermit mode for a little bit, so you can listen to yourself and clear out these wounds, or just, hold more self-love for yourself, so you can bring it out into the world, and follow more of your heart and your happiness, and create something out in the world. You're a powerful creator right now. So it's important to create whatever you're feeling the urge to create. But the soulful direction that you're being pushed in will lead to carrying connections at the same time. So carrying connections can definitely come your way. And I kind of want to read the healer for you. Let's see, the healer. Okay. Light worker, the gifted, the old soul. Yep, you're an old soul, and you have that, sometimes you have those instincts, and you feel that pressure, and you feel like the need, the urge to like do and do and do. It's important to kind of go within and get that vision within you first before you do and do too much. Because when you're doing and doing and doing too much, you can just get very misaligned. When you got to always connect to that inner vision in that picture, and slow down and listen to your inner world to get that true loud guidance. And it will be loud if you slow it down. Okay, light worker, the gifted, the old soul. You're naturally gifted. You're meant to go in the gifted direction that is aligned with, your gifts and your talents that you already came here with. Let's see. Though some claim the work of the healer as their gift and name is as their dharma, the force of this archetype is within everyone. It is our natural inclination to remember, to return to reclaim that central and eternal life force from which we so easily drift away from. In Sanskrit, the word is aveda, meaning forgetting. And it is said that this is the source of all suffering and disease. Yeah, you're reclaiming your life force again. The healer's mission then becomes to move through the discomfort of forgetting, through the veils of ignorance and denial, to reveal the radiance that already exists. The healer approaches this in multiple ways, from multiple angles, knowing the cycles of healing is not linear. It is multi-layered and circuitous process, always leading back to its own origin, much like the Ouroboros. Okay, so yeah, you're turning more of your own natural light on. And it is like, it's important. I don't know if you didn't watch the beginning, I'll just repeat this. It's important to remind yourself that you are awareness. You're not your name. You're not what happened to you. You're not any stories. You're not the past. You are source awareness in a little meat suit right now. So it's important to remind yourself that you're like the awareness experiencing this life right now, and bring it back. If you're just too, overwhelmed, because eclipses in the 10th house can, do that, like in a very life-oriented way. Remind yourself that you are awareness and you came here to experience things. And when you can kind of detach in that way, it just gives you a whole different perspective. And it is a little like mechanical or whatever, but it just brings you back into that overall big picture and that overall awareness. So I am awareness is like a powerful like affirmation that I've been using. And then, but yeah, we are just a little tiny fractal piece of bigger infinite source, like in this body for now. And it's important to release all the stories and all the roles or things or whatever is that thing that we can't let go of, whatever that story is that we can't let go of, release it. Remind yourself that you are awareness experiencing it, and you don't have to let the pain and the suffering of the past like cling on to you now. All right. Thank you so much, Sagittarius. If you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Hi, Capricorn. Okay, so this is happening in your 9th house. So this is the fun house. This is where you go on a little quest, a little like adventure. So you can see the world in a different way. So you can have new philosophies and new beliefs, because we can only manifest like what we believe the world to be. If we, have been kind of stuck in a box or whatever, or kind of limiting ourselves, we've only seen this much of the world, and only we haven't allowed ourselves to expand in any way, then we can't really manifest to our fullest ability. So this can be a physical journey of traveling, and this can also be just a journey of knowledge, maybe going towards like spirituality or esoterics or religion or philosophies or whatever it is, to kind of expand your world, to kind of give you a different perspective and different beliefs of what you can possibly, manifest in your life. This is getting you aligned in a really, really big way with your overall vision and meaning and purpose. Because when this area of life is activated, you are definitely, you go on that adventure and you follow your curiosity, and you remove all judgments. With the South Node in the 9th house, it's like you're removing the places where you were maybe judgmental before, or dogmatic, or just kind of blocked off. And the way to get out of judgment the fastest is through curiosity. So following your interests, expanding your world in some way. So you kind of go where you're supposed to go, and you go on that soulful journey that leads to what you're really supposed to be doing. You follow your curiosity, and sometimes it's like you go towards, you're interested in one thing, then it leads to this whole other different world or universe, and then that's what you're supposed to be doing, or you're supposed to be combining them. And yeah, just going on that soulful journey, and it's very exciting. It is adventuring out into the world, though. Well, no, I mean, you can adventure out into the world with knowledge too. So yeah, this is kind of like letting you see where you can definitely take action. Or I do want to say one more thing. This can be planting big seeds, though, because there's a new moon, to two times here. There's been a new moon already at the very beginning, and there's going to be another one at the very end. So you're getting aligned with your meaning and purpose. And when you're aligned with your meaning and purpose, kind of everything just comes together a little bit easier in life. And life is more fun because you're more so aligned on your Dharma timeline. This is going to allow you to take action in a more balanced way with the masculine and feminine, in balance. And it's all about Four of Earth. Let me see what the Four of Earth is. Yeah, you're finding that spark within you, actually. I'm looking at your fourth house with Saturn and Neptune in your fourth house. You're really, Capricorns are very sensitive right now. Like, my best friend's like a Capricorn rising. My mom's a Capricorn rising. And it's like little things, like they don't even have to be big things, but it could be one little thing that somebody says that actually is just like very like heartbreaking and for some reason. And it could either be like, the past coming up to be brought up. But I think what it really is, it's just like you getting back into your innocence in a big way. Like you're getting into your inner child and being like washed off with Neptune, and maybe not in the most comfortable way. And triggers might come your way, but it's to remind you that you can be sensitive. You can really feel. And the more that you allow yourself to really feel and cleanse and release all those boundaries and whatever in blocks and whatever was put up, it's going to allow you to have more freedom, and it's going to allow you to head more towards your passion. The Page of Fire came out, so there are passions and interests coming your way, and it's kind of like that inner spark that's just being kind of ignited right now. But it's going to get you more so into your own foundation too. You're recognizing where you've been too blocked off. And at the same time, you're seeing where you can, have that more solid foundation and move forward. And then let me read Keros. Let's see. This card came out for me recently too. I forgot why though. Oh, I know. You're connected. So there's a way that with Neptune on the sign that rules you, on Saturn, which rules you, there's a way that you're connecting to non-linear time. With Neptune, it is all the realities. It's all dimensions. It's the quantum. It's all universes. So there's a way, and you're connecting with non-linear time when you have deja vu, because that was actually like a knowing that you already had. And then you get the deja vu when it actually happens, but you already knew you were kind of going there, because time isn't actually linear. Everything is all happening now. It just depends what dimension you're in. In the third, we're experiencing it. If you're in the fifth, you can like pick and choose like what time you pop like out of. I think it would be the fifth, but it's a higher dimension that you can, and time changes when you're in the fifth. So it's like you're in touch with all of time in a certain way. So it's definitely important for you to kind of go within and get that inner knowing. Actually, I don't even have to read it because I just remembered it. Go within and get that inner knowing of that future self. If you want to know that future direction that you're meant to go in, if you want to know about the past, then tune into that and realize that some emotions that are coming up in cleansing, coming up and you're more sensitive to right now, it could be from lifetimes of the past, not just this lifetime. So be very gentle with yourself and know when you have to ground and everything, and, take care of yourself. And you will know the right time to take action when you get that spark. But at the end of the day, it's really important to be so in touch with your inner vision and your heart to know which direction that you're really meant to go in, that is going to be the most satisfying, that bigger soulful path. And then being open to the flow and the signs and the synchronicities with the North Node in the third house. So you can't just live every day in magic, so you can allow yourself to just be lighter. Neptune's like cleansing all the stuff that kept you heavy and dense. And that could be emotions. It could be beliefs. It could be all the things. So you get lightened up, and so you can be more of a leader actually in this new era. All right. Thank you so much, Capricorn. If you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Hi, Aquarius. Okay, so this is happening in your 8th house, which is the darker part of life. So there can be major fears, anxieties, insecurities coming up, shame, guilt, resentments, blah, 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 all the things at the lowest part of the vibrational scale that are coming up to be, so you release it. The 8th house is where we just release the dense stuff and the emotional programming, I think mostly in the projections and just fears and anxieties that have all stopped us from doing those bigger things out in the world. So we can, bring more self-love to ourselves, and so we can be lighter. So I love how there's 2 new moons here. So you're planting those intentions with how can you have more deep self-love for all parts of yourself and even your shadow. And your shadow, the 8th house being ruled by Virgo, can be perfectionism. It can be, needing to plan things out too far ahead of time, needing to know the details about everything, needing to, needing control in relationships, because the 8th house does deal with relationships. There, and maybe realizing there's a better way to have a money flow too. Crap, let me actually pull this up. Oh yeah, the money houses. Like I finally feel like I got a hold on the money houses and what this is all about actually, because it's not all about money, because money is just the middleman. It's about us kind of recognizing that we are source. And the more that we can allow source to flow through us, the more we can realize what we can give the world and what we value and what to create more of, and going in that direction. And to go in that direction in a bigger way, we have to release all the stuff that has been clogging up the pipes, stopping us from creating more out in the world and blocking our life force flow. Because when we hold those resentments, that judgments, those guilts, whatever, all the emotions, we block off our life force and we can't allow this soulful essence to flow through us, to go in the right direction, to create more things out in the world. And create more things that are very meaningful to your soul, actually. So you can be super, super abundant and fulfilled. And let's see. And so there can be deep, deep healing. It's kind of like where you weren't recognizing your own value and your own worth, you're reestablishing that in a whole new thriving way. And it does take maybe some shadow work, shadow love, bringing more self-love to all parts of yourself, and kind of like recognizing where you kept yourself too constrained when it comes to, maybe micromanaging your emotions or finances or relationships or whatever it is. It's like time to release the mental programming where you've really kept yourself tied up, because you aren't actually tied up. It came out reverse, and it's all about actually just listening to your passion. I love how Euros came out, and that is all about passion. There might be deep sexual healing too. So if you do want to go work on your chakras, get them really aligned so you can really feel that Kundalini energy, kind of working through you so you can, have more of that guidance. And this is going to lead to a new beginning in love. The Ace of Water is all about love and your emotions, and maybe you listening to your intuition more instead of worrying about money. It is just flowing with your intuition and knowing that if you flow towards your happiness and your joy and your excitement, you will be led towards abundance. But you have to have trust and faith in the universe, and you have to love all parts of yourself and then trust that soulfully guided direction to go in the right direction. And let me read Euros, actually. Let's see. Because, I think there's passionate, soulful expression that can lead you towards the right relationships and the right opportunities and towards creating the right things out in the world. Okay, so Eros, love as desire, eroticism, sensuality. Though Eros can be depicted as unbridled sexuality and eroticism, a more contemplative understanding of this archetypal energy leads us to the root of desire itself. What do we long for? What are we awake, or what do we long for? Why are we awakened by love? What makes us hesitate in the face of intimacy? Eros reconnects us with the primal longing to merge with another being. Nature, music, arts, plants, food, or anything that we perceive we are separate from. Eros allows us to momentarily unite our heart and embrace the otherness. In doing so, we further understand our own. Our life force awakens. This card reveals an inevitable initiation into love's labyrinth. You may find yourself swirling in a new territory of desire and sensuality. Explore the labyrinth with a curiosity and honest heart. And remember, though the way is circuitous, you are always being led towards its center. So yeah, you are being called towards your passions right now. And whatever gives you that love feeling, that will go towards financial stability with the North Node in Pisces in the second house. So, and it's important, like with yourself, to awaken that life force energy within you so you can become a magnet to the right opportunities, the right relationships, and all of that. And yeah, just awaken to love in a whole nother level. Oh my God, I love how that came out for you. All right, thank you so much, Aquarius. If you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Hi, Pisces. Okay, so this is happening in your 7th house of relationships. There is going to be a new beginning with relationships that is more so in alignment with this soulfully evolving version of you. With Jupiter in your 5th house, you've been exploring your passions and your interests and where your heart has been taking you, and you can get really lucky with that. And it's all about kind of finding that love within yourself so you can find the right relationship and the love in the other. The more you love yourself, the more you're going to attract someone that really loves all parts of you and really sees you. So it's all about really you stepping into your authenticity and you not being afraid to express yourself in new ways and integrate more of your higher self and your soul by going on that soulful journey of authenticity, so you can realize what you love and how you can really just be more so fully embodied with what's internally and bringing it out so you can attract the right relationships to you. So with the South Node here, though, you might be releasing ways, old programming with relationships that kept you blocked off, If you think love is hard to come by, it will be. If you think all men are douches, they will be. If you think all women suck, that's who you will be running into. What are your beliefs about relationships? Do you believe no marriages last? The marriage won't last. Like you have to set your intentions with what you believe about relationships and what you want in a relationship. And you get 2 moons to do this with. So it's very exciting. You get to set your intentions with your ideal relationships from this place of unconditional love, and then releasing all the past heartaches that have been blocking you off from love in these really significant relationships. And Queen of Air came out. So it's like, this kind of reminds me of Pluto in the 12th house. Because it's like maybe you're connecting with your higher self in the past in such an intense way where you can have kind of a wide distant perspective when it comes to people in life, or just stories that have been played out maybe by society. But realize that you can do it a different way. As soon as you decide to do it, you can do it a different way. And you actually have the clarity to really set your intention right now to attract in that love that you really, really want after you have gotten all that insight and wisdom. So really like spend some time visualizing, connecting with your inner world. I think there can be just a lot of like knowing of what's meant for you. And with Jupiter in the fifth, also, you know, it's really lucky to meet somebody right now anyway, and they could be very expansive and lead you to open up more of your heart and into more love and all of that. And the father came out. So I think there's like the healing of the masculine energy. You know, the father card comes out because we realize at the end of the day, like wherever our father disappointed us, like we look at them like they're, you know, gods when we're younger. But at the end of the day, they are, you know, just human and they are a part of us. So the more that we can kind of heal and bring, like, if you want to be successful in life, you have to forgive in all areas of life, you have to forgive your mother and your father, no matter what the fuck they have done. So I've had practice with this. Forgive them. And then you can have love, you can have money, you can have all the abundance in life. But one of the first things is like forgive your mother and father. And it's going to lead to action. You know, it's like you're getting clarity with this and it'll lead to action. And I love how this action card is like a balance of the masculine and the feminine. So I think a really strong partnership can come in during this time that does lead you towards your overall vision that you're kind of getting within yourself. But let me read Destroyer that came out because I'm not sure what this one is about. I don't know if those are allies or wolf eyes. So let's see. Destroyer. Let's see. I don't. Okay. Okay. Here it is. Here it is. Sorry. Oh no. Wait. Okay. I know how to count in Roman numerals. No, I don't. Okay. Let me pause it. Damn. Sorry. Destroyer, the savage, the unexpected, the rejected, destroyer, the final of the three archetypes in the trio of existence, has necessary yet painful work to do in the world. Culturally, we have an aversion to endings and we hang on to permanence as a signifier of success. Yet this destroyer pulls the rug out from underneath relationships, jobs, homes, and all forms of security. It's the part of us that wants things to end. Its painful orientation is to uncover our true purpose. The destroyer does not let us linger long in comforts, as it knows not much happiness is in that realm. With its piercing eyes, it seeks out stagnancy from a distance, and rest becomes history. In the old myths, this is the moment when heads begin to roll. The ground opens up, the castle crumbles. Hold on for the ride, the destroyer comes alive. So what this reminds me of is, you know, if there is a little bit of chaos with this this eclipse season, because you know the south node and north node are at an angle, and sometimes that can like bring bigger change out in your life. This is kind of like the Uranus card. You know, Uranus in your fourth house, your foundation might be shaking up a bit, and you might be dealing with personal matters a little bit more, or home and family matters, or foundational matters. Maybe you got to move. But know that this is kind of like awakening you and redirecting you towards more of your meaning and purpose and what you're really, really supposed to be doing. So, but majorly awakening you, because like Uranus in the fourth house, it kind of seems like it's just awakening you to your the core of your being. You know, trine Pluto. You're definitely getting this bigger like knowledge from your higher self that could be just integrating like really fast right now. So know that, you know, things like if the destroyer happens, bad things happen, good things happen. You know, something good will come in right away. And it is all about kind of having that trust and faith in the universe in such a whole new strong way. You're going to be dealing with this for a while with Uranus Pluto. It's awakening you to like that dying version of yourself, that bigger essence of yourself that has been through many lifetimes and many lifetimes on this planet, off the planet. There's just some sort of awareness that you could be getting in touch with. And it's not always, you can't logic it out. Like there's a video from The Alchemist that she just posted about, about existential dread. And, I had that for a while too. And you can't explain it, but you feel it. And that's how you get that knowing and that soulful knowing. So know that not everything has to be explained, but there is some sort of like very wide perspective and soulful knowing that you have of things and people that is giving you the urgency. It's really evolving your masculine energy, and it's giving you the internal, confirmation to take action on maybe a bigger picture thing that could be very revolutionary too. So know that whatever you're releasing, if it has to do with relationships or a way of outreaching to your clients or something about your business or even, whatever area of life, know that you're going in a higher direction, and know that strong relationships will come in to help you right away too. So don't be afraid to release anybody or avoid heartbreak or anything, because somebody will come in and you will feel very fulfilled, and you'll be like, oh, this is why. This is why that wasn't supposed to work. That's why I wasn't supposed to live there. That's why I wasn't supposed to do whatever it is. So you can feel that relief, and you already know that relief within you. You already have this kind of deeper knowing and insight with what is coming for you. All right. Thank you so much, Pisces. If you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Hi, Pisces. So this is happening in your 6th house, and this is all about your health, your diet, your routine, your exercise. How do you self-care? How do you self-love so you can have a very thriving body out in the world? And maybe you decide to try out different exercising routines, a different diet. I love somatics recently because it does just loosen up the body. I guess we hold a lot of trauma in our body, and we can't just work out the trauma in our minds because we're only using our minds. We actually need to release it from our body, and it'll stay there until we do the, somatics or whatever to really release ourselves, from that, because it's stored in the fascia. I got obsessed with saying that word for a little bit, the fascia. But yeah, so I definitely recommend somatics, but any health, diet, routine, exercise, that kind of feels good is the direction that you're really meant to go in, because you are definitely going in a very soulfully aligned direction with the North Node in the 12th house. It's more so about you connecting to your inner self, your intuition, your imagination, and visualizing things, connecting with your inner world so you know that what you should let go of in your everyday life that isn't really serving you. And it might be work. Maybe you, if you've been, stressed out at work, if you've been, really on the grind, if you've been doing way too much, then this would be okay, let it release that job, because you're planting seeds, and you have 2 new moons here where you can have work that is actually really fulfilling. And this could be finding a new job, or if you have your own business, this could be you restructuring things. So it actually is more in flow with, who you are. Working harder doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have more success. It is more so important to be at the right vibration, actually, and magnetizing the right people and ideas and, things to you. So you can release the ways that you felt like you had to grind and work and strive when you can easily be more so in flow with your higher self right now. So yeah, there is a lack of balance somewhere. So see where things are in balance. And this is where you can create more balance. And this is creating more balance from that higher knowledge that you're tapping into. And you'll only be able to tap into that if you really meditate, if you really listen within, and you're trusting that vision that you're getting, and you want to manifest more of that vision. This could be a time where you decide to bring some of your manifestations to life, because they could be coming in, very, very clearly. And this will lead to the right relationships and the right people in the right community. If you need to hire someone for your business, this could be a good time to do it too. If someone needs to leave, this would be a good time to, hire someone. But yeah, really listening to your heart with how you want, what does your everyday life look like? Like, how do you want to live? How do you want to thrive? How can you make a lot of time for work and for play and for rest and for family and for everything, so you can have a very balanced and fulfilling life? And you will get all of that guidance kind of inside of you. And it's all about kind of releasing beliefs. All about releasing beliefs that have been kind of keeping you stuck. Because 10 of Water came out, family, deep soulful fulfillment, a bigger soulful direction. Like, you're being guided in that direction right now. And it's really all about you connecting to your internal world so you can know that vision. And let me read Agape. This is like a chakra alignment. Maybe you're doing some chakra alignment. Maybe you're working with frequencies so you can get more of your life force energy just flowing through you. Ooh, devotion, unconditional love. Yeah, have practices and work and everything that brings devotion to unconditional love to yourself. And let me read it. So, what if instead of putting yourself at the center of your spiritual practice, you put God, goddess, or nature at the center? How would this change your approach? Such is the energy of Agape. It is alive when we are in awe and wonder, our breath taken away by the sacred force that surrounds us, and ask for nothing in return. This card can indicate a spiritual initiation that stretches your capacity to love and serve. You sense earthly as the heavenly and vice versa. Such an initiatory moment can appear in any form, and like a healing balm to the modern soul, its effects last a lifetime. The Agape card may also suggest you reassess what you worship every day, consciously or unconsciously, because that's very important. That's how you're manifesting your reality. Everything you think, everything you say, everything you do, everything is manifesting your reality, unconsciously or consciously. So make sure you're consciously devoted to love and practices that are manifesting your best reality. What are you elevating? Where does this sacred ladder you climb ultimately lead to? Yep. So you are making a ladder that is more so in service, in devotion to yourself, to your reverence. I love the word reverence too, because reverence actually means like so close to God. So, right, like, yeah, just, right by God. So, and you find just that peace, with that. So reverence, honor, joy, make your everyday life one that is more so in that peace, honor, and joy and connection with all that is. So you can let these bigger insights come in. Definitely, I would suggest the Expand app with, let's see, I forgot whose app it is, the Monroe Institute, or if you want to get a Monroe Institute course, that's where you'll get your inner guidance. And it will be loud and clear with the North Node in your 12th house. And that is you bringing yourself right next to God, right close to God, so you can, go towards this bigger fulfillment and have a very fulfilling life that isn't all about the grind. All right. Thank you so much, Aries. If you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Hi, Taurus. So this is happening in your 5th house, and your 5th house is your joy, your self-expression, your creativity, your creations. I think it's a big manifestation house. Actually, all the houses are manifestation houses if you think about it. But this is where you're following your heart, your inspiration, your joy, and your curiosity, and your excitement. And did I say your heart? Your heart. So you can go towards what you're meant to create. So you get in that soulful alignment. And you're releasing the ways that maybe you blocked yourself off from that self-expression, and that create the ways of creating that was actually too boxed in. So you can kind of connect to a bigger vision that maybe you don't like innately know, but you're kind of being led in that direction by your inspiration and by your passion, and you don't know where it's going to take you. But if you just go in that direction, and if you express yourself in new ways and create in new ways and connect with new people and have co-collaborations, then it will lead you on this bigger soulful path and journey that is more so aligned with your heart and going to be more so fulfilling and very exciting for you. So yeah, definitely plant those seeds and plant your intentions with how can you be more so aligned with your heart? How can you plant seeds of creating something that is really, just fun for you? And how can you love more too? Because this is the house of love. And you want to be devoted to what you love, actually. So you can kind of, make it a practice of following your heart on a daily basis. With the North Node in the 11th house, there could be new people coming your way, new friendships, new ways of showing up online, because the 11th house is social media, new ways of co-collaborating. Maybe you get invited somewhere randomly. Because the 11th house, it's like you get invited to an event, or you go travel or do something just completely random that kind of breaks you out of the box. That is like, where you're supposed to be and where you're supposed to go. And, you meet the right person, or you you go towards the right opportunity, you get the right inspiration, whatever it is that is like soulfully aligned and destined for you to kind of show up out in the world in a bigger way. So realize that you are on this temple path. And, the more that you can just kind of release control and just surrender more so into your heart, the more you'll see the signs and the synchronicities and, be in the dance of life to go towards that bigger dream that is really meant for you. And King of Fire, I think you're really healing your masculine energy in a way, or at least letting it take a hold, and let me pull one more card. You're following your heart. Your masculine, your heart is just lighting up, and you're taking action on your heart, and it's leading you to show up out in the world with more of your authenticity and your charisma, and being able to, just show up with less apologies and less fucks given, I guess. It's liberation, so your natural expression can emerge. Where you thought things had to be like a power struggle when you had to create things, you're releasing it and you're trusting it. And you know that you're going to be supported always, when you're following your heart and letting that fire kind of light you. You're going to be able to take the lead into more of your own natural radiance and your own natural beauty. And just a bigger, fulfilling life. So let's see. Let me read. Let's see. And the castle came out. So let's read the castle. The palace, the penthouse, the fortress. It's no wonder fairy tales tell of sleeping princesses within the castle walls. Like most archetypes, the castle is loaded with duality. It represents abundant riches, seductive fantasy, ornate wonders, and lavish adornments. Yet the walls are thick, cold, and shadowy. This card points to a tendency to hold on to possessions, quite possibly literally a home or position that projects the image of achievement, while the soul longs to run barefoot in the forest, leaving it all behind. At times we must settle down, yet the castle lulls us with its spell of materialism, and we fall asleep to our deepest dreams. The castle can be a motivating force, an enchanting goal to travel towards, but it is best not to linger within its walls of decadent deception for too long. So it's interesting. The castle came out with the siren, and this kind of reminds me of like Neptune in the 12th house. We're kind of going on this deep, soulful exploration, and we're following our passions into like the depths of our psyche and our subconscious and everything. So we're and getting connected to our higher self in such a stronger way. And when that happens, we're being called towards like intense soul desires that really light up the heart and really just let us kind of express ourselves in a whole new way. And the whole thing is, we can't let ourselves be stuck, with the old practical ways of doing things. Maybe these are old projects that just aren't really, fitting with you anymore. Maybe these are, old ways of just, expressing yourself. That's just like not, it's not lighting that passion. It's not it's not like going towards that, bigger soulful desire. So you're definitely being called in a big way towards these deeper soulful desires where the jewel is, and you're going to be recognizing it within you. So definitely give yourself time to visualize and meditate and connect with your inner world and kind of go, on that temple path within to recognize everything that's already inside of you already. So you can see what wants to be brought out more so. And yeah, it might be a relationship for some of you. The Chariot came out. So this is like, Chariot is willpower. And this could be creative willpower in a certain direction. But this could also be a romantic relationship, a soulmate, divine union that is just like very balanced. You guys might be opposite, but you complement each other. And new ideas, new ideas and ways of communicating in love, and new inspirations, and that are coming your way. All right, thank you so much, Taurus. If you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Hi, Gemini. So this is happening in your fourth house, which is your home, your family, your foundation, and you're releasing here so you can have a new beginning. You might be throwing stuff away around your home that is just like bringing a lot of clutter. And also, just maybe energetically, there's not a lot of flow in your house. So know that items hold energy and a frequency. And it's important to see what resonates, what doesn't. Marie Kondo, you can Marie Kondo it. That's why I like moving a lot too. So you can just like clear things out, But Marie Kondo, and I went a little too crazy with Marie Kondo one time, but you hold the object in your hand. Does it bring you joy? If it doesn't, you got to get rid of it. Okay. So that, I don't know, is something you could definitely do around your home. So you can get rid of what just might be taking up energetic space and not actually be, very fulfilling. But this can be a time where you set up new traditions, a new foundation, where you establish healthier relationships with your family or people that live in your home, your roommates. It could be neighbors even, but even though neighbors is more so third house, I think you're releasing deep, deep things from the past that are no longer resonating with you. And this could be stories. This could be, the karma that we take on. Karma isn't a curse. By the way, it's literally just the energetic imprint that we're born with. And we take some of that energetic imprint from our family, just from being raised by them and being around them, to see what was helpful, what isn't. So, and who are you now, and what is going to serve you the most to go be your most brilliant, fulfilled self out in the world, going towards your bigger soulful inspirations and your desires. Because North Node in Pisces, like you're going in this bigger soulful direction, that is going to be, your heart is calling you towards. It's going to be super fulfilling. It is the unknown, and it might be completely different, but it could be towards art. It could be towards music. It could be towards Pisces things, art, music, like wonder, film, media, that, is like the direction that you're really supposed to go in. But really, you have to connect with yourself in your inner world and the Hermit came out, to really know where that direction is and how you can go in that direction. You have to have the image within yourself first, and then know that you're going to be able to go out there and do it. So this might be a good time to go hermit mode, and you're planting those seeds, at the core of who you are, so you can have this, internal stability and be like a rock out in the world. And you can have just this newfound, connection with your inner child, and, just the core of who you are. And you're really like listening to, where you're supposed to go and where you can be the most fulfilled. So reestablishing foundations for sure. And when you do that, you plant roots all the way down, and then you can go way higher out in the world. So this is a big opportunity to establish some roots with how you want to live, where you want to live, how you want to live, what beliefs you have about living in general. And one sec, I actually wrote something in. Oh, your fourth house is like your emotional foundation. What is that feeling that you're feeling most of the time? Because this is what you're magnetizing, to you. Our feelings magnetize things towards us. Our ideas are electric. They send out, the signal and everything. So what are you feeling? And this could be a new way that you're kind of setting the standard of what you want to mainly feel. Is it reverence? Is it peace? Is it enlightenment? Is it whatever it is? Like you get to decide, and then really plant those seeds, set those intentions, because that will make you a lot more abundant, and know that you will be victorious of your vision. She's seeing a vision, and you really might get strong visions and signs and synchronicities with where you're supposed to be going out in the world, in this bigger direction. The 10th house is who you are out in the world, what you're known for, your legacy, your career, and you really getting a vision with what that's supposed to be and how to get there. Trust it, know it, feel it. Let's see, the unseen came out. I'm going to read the unseen. Ooh, I love this. The unseen are the ancestors. This is, I love how it's always so perfect when I pull the cards. Okay, so the unseen, the spirit, the ancestor, the eternal. The unseen is just as it sounds. We cannot see it, yet it sees us, watching and waiting with wisdom, both kind and instructive. We feel this presence, sense it, intuit it, then doubt its existence. Although we rally our attention time and time again, the energy of the unseen may come in many forms. A compelling dream, a sudden insight, a clear voice, a vision or message from the loved one who has passed to the other side. It is natural to fear these communications, as they challenge our perception of what is real. When this card appears, your guides are near, your eternal is present. The doorway between the worlds is ajar. Or one sec, I'll say something in a second. The door between the world is ajar. Listen, the sound may seem as though they come from a distant land, but they call your innermost chambers. So make sure you spend some time really connecting to your ancestors. Really, you can do a meditation to really hear them. I love the Expand app by Monroe Institute. It's so crazy, like the sounds they use, like that get you in that state to just receive messages so freaking clearly. So know that you always have this power, but it's all about slowing down, quieting down so you can listen to it. And some of you might be, I don't know, speaking up a little bit more, because, I like sometimes like when I get that, or speaking more of your authentic truth, when I for some reason, I have a thing where saliva, even though it's gross, saliva just kind of runs a little bit more. So I have to swallow. I don't know what, to clear my throat or whatever. Anyway, so I don't know, but speaking to the ancestors might be a thing too. Know that you are always supported. They are always there. You can always ask for help and guidance. And the Venom came out, which I'm a little confused. I want to read this too, because I never really get the Venom. But I think the Venom is literally just releasing, the past, like releasing, the deep, deep past of whatever was holding you back. The mirror, the stone, the Venom. The venom, the poison, the curse, the toxin. Much to our dismay, the venom is always lurking in the shadows in one form or another. Its toxic presence may be found in our relationships, thoughts, speech, environment. Thankfully, the cycle of purification and detoxification comes so naturally that it is built into our very exhale. We breathe out carbon dioxide and the plants return it to the oxygen. Archetypal venom is rarely remedied as easily, however. It can come in potent forms and quantities that are deeply damaging to us and to the world. When the Venom card appears, there's a harmful substance in our psychic realm that we must be identified. Perhaps your words have a sting of poison about them. Perhaps a relationship is slowly draining your reserves. Acknowledgement is the first step. Change is the second. The remedy itself in time, and with it, forgiveness. Yeah, so there might be deep self-realizations where, anyone speaking out of hurt, like it is just from hurt, in the past, where you're kind of recognizing some of this and being able to release it, and not like hold it in yourself anymore. And then just have more love, compassion, and forgiveness, moving forward. And yeah, this could be just releasing family curses. Like, if you're aware of releasing those, I don't really know how, but I think, this can be a deep, like familial karmic pattern thing that you elevate yourself out of, so you can go a lot farther, out in the world and be the black sheep and, raise above all the cycles of, the past. All right. Thank you so much, Gemini. If you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Hi, Cancer. Okay. So this is your third house, which is your everyday life, your community, your scheduling, your errands. What do you do in your everyday life, and how can you be more so in flow with your bigger soulful essence in your heart and this bigger vision with who you're supposed to be out in the world, and releasing a little bit of daily control so you can be in flow with this bigger unknown vision that you're feeling in your heart, that you're kind of getting more so in your subconscious, in your intuition, in signs and synchronicities, in connecting with your inner world. So you can restructure your everyday life in a way that is better for you. And this could be a new beginning with healing sibling relationships too. Since the third house releases siblings, it would also be a good time to start a new way of being on social media, a new way of marketing, a new way of a new idea for a writing project or a blog project or any kind of projects like that. But yeah, I think you're definitely letting go of, just where you have been. The 10 of Cups came out reversed, where you have been misaligned with this bigger vision out in the world that is more so on your Dharma timeline, because the North Node in the 9th house in Pisces, it is asking you to go on this soulful journey, and you already know the journey within you. So it's all about going it within and listening so you can be guided on that journey. And then releasing anything that has been kind of stopping you, which could be family stuff, deep, deep family stuff and emotional stuff from the past, with the 10 of Cups that came out reversed. But when you have that trust and faith in yourself, then you can get aligned with your own meaning and purpose in life that is going to be super, super fulfilling And it's you being more so on your Dharma timeline and kind of setting yourself free. So Angel of Strength came out. Know that you have the strength, you have the courage, you have the resilience, you have tamed the beast in a certain way. And this could be a person or whatever, but you have the strength to go in this bigger direction that you're kind of envisioning, but you definitely need to be devoted to it in your everyday life. So you can plant these seeds with what are you doing in your everyday life? How do you speak to yourself? What do you think mainly consciously or unconsciously? What routines do you have? How do you speak in general out in the world? What projects do you take on? How can you get aligned mind, body, spirit to go in the bigger direction towards your manifestations with more faith and hope in your bigger dreams, and having, that focused, devoted intention of going towards those bigger dreams? Because the third house, we don't want to be completely unstructured, but there's a way that we can create structures where we can create what we're devoted to. Devotion is very important. And we can have devotion out of self-love. We can have devotion out of, just self-love and, like to create more inspiration in our everyday life and all of that. So good time to clean out the clutter and then set your daily devotion towards these bigger manifestations, and know that you are strong enough out in the world to be bold and bigger, bolder, like more with your heart on your sleeve. And really radiating out in the world in this whole new way that like you never have before. And let me read the tear, because the tear came out. So the mourning, the release, the rain, the tears are droplets of letting go. Once they begin to fall, we allow the swelling tide of the emotion to run its elemental course. Often the tear is what is needed in order for a conversation or situation to break into the next level of intimacy and vulnerability. Some say that tears are so powerful in softening our egos that they open up a portal to the unseen world. Through our watery eyes, the ancestors catch a glimpse of us, and we are reminded of their internal remembrance. We sense our humanity, our humility, and we allow ourselves to be held. It is likely this card appears when there is grieving yet to do, a sinking down into disappointment or despair that, once acknowledged, will bring a shimmer of clarity to our dewy eyes. So know if there has been a waterfall of emotions kind of blocked off, like let them all come to the surface, because this is going to give you so many breakthroughs and so much more awareness. And then you can connect to the unseen and, like the veils being thin and healing and softening the ego too. I actually didn't know tears did that. So that's actually really, really cool, where you can release, any programming or being too rigid in your ego, and kind of open up to yourself with more, opening up to more flow out in the world. All right. Thank you so much, Cancer. If you would like a reading, check out my link in bio. Hi, Leo. How's it going? Okay, so this is happening in your second house. And I finally figured out the second house, eighth house. I mean, in a deeper way. So the second house is kind of our natural gifts and our natural talents that we've already come here with. This is how our natural things that we bring to this world that can create stability and can create, just abundance for us. And the eighth house is where we, get emotionally programmed to create like a block in our life force from our bigger soulful expression. So we need our soulful essence to flow in order to thrive with our natural gifts and our talents. And it all starts with the North Node in the eighth house, which is having that unconditional love and acceptance for all parts of ourselves, recognizing our shadow, releasing any shame, guilt, judgments, projections, ways that we held shame in ways that we held fear and didn't let ourselves really go after our desires. We got to recognize where we want to go after those bigger soulful desires and where we're really being called in a certain way, and where we can actually be more so just embodied with just our full awareness, versus needing to put on a mask or needing to, we'll always have an ego. But with the eighth house stuff that kind of was going on, it's like we've been released of a big part of our ego, where we're more so connected to a bigger part of source, and a bigger part of that unconditional love, and a bigger part of, our connection to everything and everyone. And the more that we can kind of release and do that, the more we allow ourselves to radiate more of our natural gifts and talents. And the more that we don't need to focus so much on money to create money, because money is actually the middleman. The more you can just go after what you're interested in and what you're excited about, and what you're naturally drawn towards, so you can create more of that out in the world, because that's like your desires are what you're supposed to be going towards, because we all have very unique desires, but your desires is your soul telling you where to go for that fulfillment and where you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to be doing. The more that you just kind of realize that you are source energy, and source energy is the thing that creates everything. And the more that you tap into that, and you tap into that by consciously choosing what you want, and then subconsciously you got to connect to your subconscious, and you can do this like right before you wake up or right before you go to sleep, or you can do meditations, and you really connect to the, visions and the imagination, or you listen to subliminals, and you really get your subconscious going in that direction too, because the subconscious connects to everything and everyone in source energy. And if you desire it, you can have it. You just have to choose it. It's just you slowing down maybe a little bit and recognizing more of what you already are. And that's going to lead you towards more abundance. And, that's what we're really meant to be doing, is expanding more so into the awareness of what we are. What are our natural skills? What are our talents? What value did we come here with? So we can release all the blocks in the eighth house that stopped us from doing that. And then we can, go and create out in the world, and go and create in a way that will help others, that will touch others, that will uplift others. So yeah, this is a really good time to plant those seeds. If you have any creative projects, if you have any, ways that you've been thinking about of making more money, this is a good time to really, do that. And also just release any, programming or limitations that you previously put on money, because there is no such thing as lack. As long as you're connected to your infinite source of abundance within, you will always find the right direction to go towards that abundance. So yeah, it's kind of recognizing that the cave, is this recording? This better be. Okay. Oh no. Okay. I'm going to finish it anyway and pray. Okay. The Magician in the Mirror. You have everything that you need right now. It's all about balancing the spirit with the, the physical, and slowing down. The cave came out. You got to really listen to your inner world and see that you already have that spark. You already have that gift. It's just you going within and setting that intention. I create effortlessly and easily. All my actions create money. I get paid to exist, whatever you want. So you can really listen to that inspiration and then go in that right direction that is meant for you. And then ultimately commit to yourself and self-love. And that's how abundance can also come in. And then also making the right commitments. Yeah, just making the right commitments with your time and your energy, so you can bring these bigger, brilliant manifestations of who you truly are out into the world, and releasing any disappointments. This is a good time where we can, release disappointments of the past, when it comes to money or our value and our self-worth. So we can, have that overall self-love, so we can have more alignment and with going more so towards our mission, and not just in that hustle and the grind that is our society and culture today. Doing the work within so you can be, aligned onto your best path, and then you'll see the abundance that can come really effortlessly and easily. All right, Leo, if you would like a reading, check out my link in bio, and I hope to God yours recorded. If not, I'll do a separate one.